Or should I say happy holidays, Merry Christmas, it's all that stuff. Where are you? You are at the top of the hour here at KRFF 95.9 LPFM, Moorhead, Fargo, RadioFreeFargo.org. You can go there, you can donate, you can just loiter around, you can listen to Side Stage with Trav, that's noon to 3 on Thursday, he's right before me, then an hour of automation, then Bingo Bango, you got Canna-Talk ND with Wilson at 4 o'clock every Thursday, and we open up a big stinky bag of cannabis news at 4:20, and today's no different, except I'm just wearing a really ugly sweater and no pants. Now, you'll have to prove the pants part, but trust me, it's 420 degrees, always in the studio, I'm dressed appropriately. Again, welcome. We're going to talk about cannabis legalization and the benefits of legalizing it and just a curated week's worth of news. And again, today I'll have kind of like a ho, ho, ho feel as well as the music. And I'm going to touch on something that, I don't know, that should probably relate to the medical card holders in North Dakota and where they go to get their cannabis and the quality of that. Apparently that's came into question. A good friend of mine had her cannabis leak purple. All right, so we're going to talk about that at 4:20, of course. And again, what a beautiful day to be alive, right? Canna-Talk ND with Wilson every Thursday here at RadioFreeFargo.org. You can go there and donate. And I suppose, I don't know what the stats are, but I would imagine a lot of people are going crazy this time of year, and especially with the COVID and no money, no job, and those little voices start talking you down. So just keep in mind the mobile mental health crisis response number, 1-800-233-4512. And let's not forget the New Life Center, which I read today. They're down like 20-some. Because of the COVID, they can't take the normal 120. So they're taking like 40 people less than they normally would. So shout out to those guys. Shout out to New Life Center. New Life Center helps people who are homeless and hurting go from merely surviving to truly thriving. Their aim is to help people in need discover value and find hope. The New Life Center has evolved into a multifaceted emergency and crisis service center. To learn more about NLC, visit their website at www.fargonlc.org or give them a call at 701-235-4453. So just, give your loved ones a big old fat hug from Wilson. It's the holiday special. Again, ho, 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 or should I say hi. This is the hour that I focus on cannabis and cannabis legalization, and I'm excited to do that. I got ditties, which, I might as well just play one right now. Why not? This is called, the guy's name is Shiny Ribs. It's off the Kringle Tingle album, Don't Go Chasing Santa Claus. Oh, man, that's the Kringle Tingle, folks, by Shiny Ribs. Don't Go Chasing Santa Claus, or Waterfalls, whichever one gets you froggy. You know what I mean? Canna-Talk ND with Wilson every Thursday, 4 o'clock, 4:20, I unzip a bag of cannabis news, and today's no different. It's 420 degrees here in the studio, and I'm dressed appropriately. I hope everybody's chilling. Canna-Talk ND on YouTube. We're going to give you this show tomorrow minus the music, I think. Phill of Canna Head Pilco, he does a deep dive on Sundays. He does Canna Heads, and he's also, pretty hard to do without, you know what I'm saying? Because he makes me look really good, and so I just got to return the favor. Shout out to him. It's Fargo. That's where I'm at. It is cold. You know what I mean? Indie for Freedom of Cannabis is also a Facebook page. You can reach out. I just want to shout out, if you have medical issues, Committee for Compassionate Care on Facebook. Get a hold of Leslie. Tell her Wilson sent you, and that'll get handled. You know what I mean? Because January 6th is when the legislators meet up at the Capitol, and that's when, if you want something done, that's when we got to start pushing them. And so that's what we plan to do. Because cannabis legalization, I would argue, isn't going to get done until you decide that it is. And you've decided that it don't matter what it takes. You're going to get that cannabis legalized. Then you become loud. Then you become annoying. And then the greasy wheel gets the spoon. Man, that don't sound right. But anyway, I thought I'd just cover a quick cannabis news because we've got the time. And why not? Because again, I want to cover something, that of a local nature that might need me to flesh out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I thought I would wait to talk about the purple pot problem at 420. So that's exciting. If you have a medical card or you know somebody that does, maybe you should go grab them, pull them into the living room, and tell them I'm going to be talking about questionable quality that I can prove that just happened this week. And I'm going to bounce it off you because maybe you'll tell me, oh, it leaks purple when it's wet because, and then give me a rationale that makes sense. Because otherwise, I don't know why that cannabis is leaking purple goo unless there's food coloring. That's what I think. I think they put food coloring on it and they grew one kind. They put purpley dye on it and called it two kinds. But again, that's just me. My lawyers say that I have to say it's my opinion. And Canna-Talk ND with Wilson, RadioFreeFargo.org. Get over there, do some donating. It's the time of giving. Noon to 3, we got Side Stage with Trav. 4 to 5, it's Canna-Talk ND with Wilson, and that's where we are right now. Arizona County officially dismisses all weed charges thanks to the new legalization law. So the pot prop, they called it Proposition 207, passed with 60%. And so there were 6,000 cases that were on the docket. And so they just wiped them out. There was also 3,500 outstanding bench warrants, 1,400 filed charges, and 1,000 charges that have been submitted but not filed. Additionally, there are 180 cases currently in trial. All of these cases are set to be reviewed with an eye of dismissal. So where the case is in the system does play a role in how we deal with it. So that's cool. That's nice to see that kind of stuff happening. And again, being a stout believer in cannabis legalization, because of the sidetracking that you get and your life gets kind of shackled up by some stupid misdemeanor that they've treated as something that's going to follow you, that's got to be done. So when I hear of charges being dismissed, that really makes me happy. So this next song, you're going to say, well, this isn't a Christmas song. I would argue, yeah, it is. You would say, no, I'm serious. That's not a Christmas song. And I'd say, screw you, buddy. It's the Ballad of Curtis Lowe. And I'm going to play it. Merry Christmas. Oh, man, I suppose you need a minute to recover from that beauty. First up was the Ballad of Curtis Lowe, Lynyrd Skynyrd, Second Helping. That's the 1973 album. And a beautiful Christmas classic, if you ask me. And I wrapped it up with Ho, a Cooking Soul album. It's the Doom Christmas, FM Doom. That was last year. And that's really pretty groovy. The whole album is, you can play it. And you can just play it. And I'm going to play a couple more here as we get into it. But Canna-Talk ND with Wilson every Thursday, 4 o'clock I get in here. 4:20 I zip open the cannabis news that we're going to consume here in just a minute. Just wanted to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays from me to you, to RadioFreeFargo.org, to Radio Free Fargo, and to everybody that can hear me. That's even you, Mr. Pete. I just made that up because I got about 50 seconds I needed to kind of blow off. But anyway, let's get into the show because I got a lot to talk about. I can assure you that. Oh wait, I'm an idiot. Now let's do it.
Yo, it's Wilson from Canna-Talk ND. The super awesome show you're getting ready to listen to. I think you should go and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'll wait. Okay, enjoy the show.
Okay, let's end with hash, shall we? And hello, everybody, and welcome to Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. We're going to discuss cannabis in a positive light. I'm gonna, it's going to be kind of a a holiday slant. Except first, I wanted to get into this thing because it's important, and I think people can relate to it, and because I didn't think anybody would relate to it. So let me just get in. I'm going to set it up a little bit. In 2018, in September, I met this person. She's a friend, Becky Reddick. She's a cancer person. She got cancer. And when I met her in 2018, you could literally feel the tumorousy bally balls on her neck. And, and she'll tell you the story if she wants to tell you and you're interested. But my point is when I met her, at the Measure 3 store downtown, I was very freshly clean. I was probably clean like 7 days, and I can assure you I had no friends. None, Drug addicts burn a lot of bridges. That's kind of that's par for the course, So I had 0 friends, and she popped into my life, or I popped into the legalization measure, and she welcomed me. She was the first friend I got. Okay, so we're there. So we're close, we're good friends. And she's got a medical card, and she goes to the dispensary here in town, which I think is called Pure Dakota. And apparently it's Curaleaf, but it used to be Grassroots. So, which is interesting, because if you look it up, Grassroots they sweeped all 4, dispensary license. They got all 4. But then they sold it to Curaleaf, who's not from here, they're just a big place. They bought it for $879 million for Curaleaf, which is now Grassroots, which is the producer of the cannabis that if you've got a medical card, you're lucky enough to be purchasing. Okay, so she sends me a picture just a few days ago, and she had this strain called Grassy Knoll, which other people have had it. She put it in a white container because she was going to consume some. You know what I mean? She was going to do it. Get lifted, as they say. And she put it in this container. Again, she'll have to tell you why, but it was the perfect kind of backdrop. So she washed her hands, came back, and I'll have pictures up on the Canna-Talk ND YouTube tomorrow. I believe Phil's going to show them there so you can see the proof. And so we posted on Facebook because we're like, well, why does cannabis, when it'll get a little wet, drip purple fluid? I mean, why, how does purple come off a purple plant? It shouldn't. It should be genetically purple. Okay? So what's up, So we're like, well, is it dyed? Did they put a dye on it? And, and they've just been their second year growing. But now that I know that it's a franchise, it's not like they picked 2 guys, Ben and Jerry, and said, you now are going to be the cannabis growers in Fargo. I know you don't know how to do it because you're from Fargo, but just wing it because the people don't matter. I'd hate if that was the case. So they definitely, I would imagine, has professionals working it. Okay, so she calls, and right away she calls Pure Dakota, which I've been jokingly calling it as Impure Dakota because I'm a witty genius here at Canna-Talk ND with Wilson, which if you just tuned in, we're talking about cannabis and legalizing and offerings for medical. And so my friend, she's got cancer, she's got the medical card, she got this strain called Grassy Knoll that when damp just blotted a big paper of purpley goo. Okay, so we posted that on ND for Freedom, and we started getting, it's almost like the Me Too movement. We started getting all these people that are like, yeah, we've gotten stuff from there that was really seedy. Apparently they're hermaphrodite cooking or making, which I think the plant is the male and the female. I'm not really sure about that, but it's not the best quality, I would imagine. And so there's that complaint. And then seeds, it's not 1993. Come on, get the seeds out of your weeds. So anyway, this one guy, and I'll leave him anonymous for now, because he posts, he goes, and he showed another picture of paper towel down and the smushy, the cannabis on the towel leaving purpley residue. But what is that? What is it? Because I can get like poor quality, they're going to lose money, so they just slip it by, they say the medical guy, well, you're just happy to get anything, buster. So I can see them justifying that out. Like, and then mold, apparently we've been getting, feedback that there's moldy cannabis, which again, that's just kind of, I don't want to say par for the course, but I get that. But what I don't get is how come your cannabis turns purpley when wet. And it's not just purpley when wet, it literally leaks out purple. And we'll have pics up, on the video, and then you can go to ND for Freedom of Cannabis, and it's definitely there. And so we start getting like these whatever. So he claims, that the customer service is crazy, he doesn't get any sort of, any response. He's like, look at this. It's leaking purple. And they just seem to kind of run right over him. So he's now, involved, because again, he's just a poor dude scraping by to get this card to better his life, and a person or people are giving him subpar quality. And that just shouldn't be the case, especially like the guy said, NDSU's got a beautiful agriculture, program. They could be making, cows and dank. That's what NDSU's known for. But anyway, so she called, and right away they say, no, that's Curaleaf. That's Curaleaf's problem, because buck passing is what people do, I mean, I remember one time having a money order, and I was in Wahpeton, and I wanted to go to Stop and Go and cash that money order out. I'd done it before. They just called the number and then gave you the cash if it was between 8 and 5. Well, I went to Wahpeton, and I go, here, I want to cash this money order. I could tell that she didn't know how to do it. And she's like, so I'm thinking she's not going to do it. So I say, well, hey, it happens in Fargo. And right away her eyes lit up, and she's like, oh, yeah, you can't do that here in Wahpeton. You got to go to Fargo. Well, I knew that was ridiculous. I just knew that she was lazy. She didn't want to take the effort to find out how to cash my check. And I gave her an out, and she willingly grabbed it. I went across the bridge, the Breckenridge, no problem. I cashed it just fine. So that's what this kind of seems like. There should be more, I don't know, there should be more pride, I would think. But anyway, so we got a couple more where we've got it probably already to Vegas. I don't even know if that's legal. Maybe I shouldn't say that. But, it's going to be tested. Why does it turn purple? We think it's food coloring, And so you have one kind of cannabis. You squirt some dye on it. Bingo, bango, you got 2 strains you can sell, And you'd have to ask her how she even got it wet to be in a white container. Like it was just, who knew, Have you ever kind of like opened the door and seen something you didn't want to see in a bedroom or something? And you just can't, you want to hurry up and never see that again, but you kind of still stand at the door? It's kind of like that, Why did it stain the white purple? Why did damp pot bleed blue? Is it dye? And then somebody said, well, maybe the nutrients haven't been, stripped from it yet. And I'm thinking, well, nutrients should be the last thing you're going to strip, right? I mean, nutrients sounds like something you would put in the thing, So anyway, that just happened a couple days ago. And so if something similar has happened to you, get a hold of Becky Reddig or go to ND for Freedom of Cannabis, shoot out a message, and we're going to try to get it rectified. I want an explanation, And again, she's got cancer. She don't want to be taking any weird, you know what I mean? They tell you it's weed and food coloring dye. So anyway, so that's the interesting thing. That's what we're trying to figure out. We're like, well, if she hadn't got it damp on a white poster board, we'd have never known. And now it's more of curious. She was curious, but she's not getting the answers that she thought she should get, and I think that she should get. So we're going to pursue it further. We're not going to let it go. And this guy that, that's remaining anonymous now, we're going to try to make sure that the quality is improved for that guy and for all of you people. It has nothing to do with me. It has to do with humanity and proper etiquette. It seems like an ethical thing, in my opinion. It just seems like they just don't care, but it shows some trickiness. I can understand like mold or, they just customer services lax, but to change cannabis that was one kind and turn it into another by not growing a different one, that is shady, my friend. That is hinky. So we still don't know. We're going to get it tested, and so if you've gotten stuff, Grassy Knoll and apparently Kong Kush seems to be the cannabis that doesn't seem to be, up to par. But it was interesting because we posted the pictures and, I'm like, well, what's this? And we start getting comments like, yeah, I get this too. I've been getting seeds. It's like the worst review you could get. You know, so it's like, well, these guys aren't poor. It's not like they gave the dispensary license to 4 fledgling entrepreneurs, you know. These guys sold that very 4 dispensary license for close to $1 billion stinking dollars, you know. So this isn't about, I don't want to tattle and get them, you know, to lose their little trailer down the street. These guys can kick down to do some quality checking to get the stinking cannabis up to par. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's kind of the thing. And I try to be careful because I don't want to slander, or, you know, I don't have money for lawyers. But, and again, if you know why that, but so far we haven't found out anybody that can tell us why cannabis, when damp, turns the liquid or the towel blue. You know? And the other thing that bothers me is that I feel like it's one kind. They put the dye on so they can sell 2 different kinds. And that's wrong. That's wrong. Right? You know, am I wrong to think that's wrong? If I am, fine. If there's an explanation, good. But I can't have a show called Canna-Talk ND, and I can't have morals and, you know, whatever, integrity to get people what I think they need to get fairly, safely, right, and generously, and not bring this up, you know? So, anyway, Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Merry Christmas to everybody. Every Thursday, 4 o'clock. 4:20, we get knee-deep into a bag of cannabis news, and that's what we're doing now. So, again, if you just started listening, we've been getting these weird pictures of cannabis turning blue when damp from Pure Dakota. And we've tried to call them, and they said, you know, they tried to push it off and say you got to get a hold of Curaleaf, you know. And so Becky is she's been trying to get a hold of the Medical Marijuana Board, you know, to try to get some answers. So if this was something that's happened to you, you might as well grab onto our coattails and get some coattail, and, you know, come on with us, you know, because again, if you can prove it, the more the merrier, you know what I'm saying? And it's just, again, I mean, in my head, I feel like I've been breaking the law since I was 16, once I realized that I was a better person when I used an alternative medicine, you know, because I have mental issues, at least one, that I had to live a life of a lie, and I had to lie. So it's a new era, you know, and so we should all try to help make this go as smoothly as possible. And I just kind of lost track of what I was saying. But anyway, cannabis works, people. And the best quality should be given to to patients who deserve it. So again, that's all I have to say for that now. And I'm going to talk about regular Christmassy, you know, news. I did want to shout out that Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg, they got together and had some sort of little potluck. And Martha Stewart, she made dog bones and cannabis cookies. And I just couldn't help but think, like, first of all, Martha Stewart's a gangster, all right? We can't not say that. I mean, she came out of prison. I mean, wow. You know, of all the people that's been to prison, Martha Stewart's prison bid, as they say, and then comes out and hangs out with Snoop Dogg making pot cookies is awesome. And she's got a CBD line, I guess, you know. But anyway, so they hung out and they made cookies. And how, you know, like I said, mainstream, it's coming. You know, when Martha Stewart can hang out with Snoop Dogg and making dog bone and pot leaf cookies for the masses, public TV or whatever, streaming, it's pretty stinking cool. So anyway, this is Marijuana Moment. Rand Paul complains about marijuana edibles study in annual Festivus grievance list. So let's read this a little. Senator Rand Paul, Kentucky, kept up with his traditional airing of grievances in accordance with the Seinfeld-inspired holiday Festivus on Wednesday. And again, I never knew that I liked Rand Paul until right now. I had no idea he has the Festivus for the rest of us. Fantastic. And for at least the third time now, he brought up marijuana. Again, it's cannabis, But whatever. The senator supports cannabis reform, mostly from states' rights perspective, but included a government waste report he published in conjunction with the holiday is a passage complaining about $3 million in spending on studies that investigate the cannabis edible consumption habits of older people living in San Fran. And that's crazy. They spent $3 million to interview. They must not have spent a lot of time around people who love cannabis. You do not need to pay them to talk about it. Hear, hear. What's next? Government funding to get people to post about their CrossFit and keto programs? But anyway, the National Institute of Health did provide the Scientific Analysis Corporation with $3 million in grant money over 6 years for the marijuana research of edibles. So Rand says, quote, "So we found out that boomers stick to their limits, do not do edibles when they need to be alert, and drink coffee to combat a high that becomes too much. All this groundbreaking insight for a cool $3 million. Regardless of one's views of the value of medical marijuana or the use of recreational, agreement should be widespread that spending 6 years and upwards of $3 million to do a survey of how baby boomers in San Fran get high on edibles is a colossal waste of time and money." So that's nuts. He further said, "I'm going to close today by talking about something good that has happened. In fact, some could even say it has its beginnings right here on Festivus, Twitter. A few years ago, I poked a little fun at my friend Cory Booker. And it's a Festivus miracle because Congress passed and the president signed both of those things this week. But when we exchange some thoughts about bipartisan reform we could work on, like hemp legalization, so on and so forth." He followed up on that policy in a thread last year, noting that he collaborated with the Majority Leader Mitch McConnell on agriculture legislation that included provisions federally legalizing hemp. So let me see if I got that straight. So there's $3 million presented to give a bunch of old people edibles and then do a survey. That's crazy. But I say, why not? You know, I mean, we see now with that stinking bill, the spending bill, you know, they got money going to Pakistan. Again, I don't know everything, you know, so I'm not going to get into all that. But why don't we talk about this? Let's talk about this instead. All right, 21 excellent reasons why you should smoke more cannabis during the holidays. And again, these are for people with medical cards or living in those beautiful states where it's legal. Okay? So here we go. Christmas cookies are a million times more delicious. Holiday food in general is fantastic. And again, that's amazing to me, you know, because maybe the food is always fantastic. You just haven't tapped into the, you know, the key. So anyway, dinner with the family will be bearable. You'll be thankful for every gift, even the lame ones. Childhood Christmas movies are the bomb when you're high. Watching the snowfall will be bliss. Playing in the snow will be like the first time all over again. Now, I don't know what they mean by first time. Do they mean the first time playing in the snow? Or jamming out to Christmas music won't be so bad. Christmas lights are mesmerizing. You're less likely to disown your favorite NFL team if they lose. You'll feel extra special in your Christmas PJs. Even if you don't get what you want this year, you still have your weed. And there's more of them. Bonding with your cousins will be joyous. But I kind of want to jump through here. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson every Thursday. 4:20 we get in a big bag of cannabis news, and that's where we are right now. In fact, we're screaming up to the end of my holiday episode. I'm wearing an ugly sweater, no pants, for Festivus. But that's awesome. Rand Paul celebrates Festivus. That's crazy. So anyway, cops dress as Santa and an elf blitz gang leader in Peruvian drug raid. Last week, undercover Peruvian cops dressed as Santa and an elf came to town, skipped the chimney, and sledgehammered through a suspected drug dealer's front door. The sting took place in the Villa El Salvador district of Peru's capital, Lima. The arrests included the alleged leader of the Los Flaquis gang. And so there's a video you can go, but they basically said, "We are the police, we are the Green Squad. This is an anti-drug operation," the police shouted on the video. Police said the suspects dealt drugs out of the house, which is located near a school, and apparently in Peru that's bad too. They also reported finding hundreds of baggies of cocaine paste and cannabis, as well as a handgun. Although cocaine is outlawed in Peru, the nation launched a limited medical cannabis program in late 2019. However, the country has experienced shortages of medical cannabis due to short supply and high demand. And that should just tell you So anyway, the Green Squad, or Grupo Terna, are known for donning a variety of disguises before dashing in to surprise their suspects. In the past, they've dressed as homeless people, city street sweepers, and this year marks the second time they decked more festive and flashy garb, and the first time they pulled the Santa and the elf trick was back in 2016. And so that'd be fun to work with those guys, don't you think? That'd be really kind of fun. So anyway, every Thursday, 4 o'clock, RadioFreeFargo.org, Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Festivus for the rest of us. Now, this is something I've kind of been following. Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys ex David Irving. I want to say, like, it wasn't this year, but I want to say 2 or 3 years ago. I wanted to get the newest one here. But anyway, let me see. It was the lead fourth quarter. Okay, Super Bowl LIV. Is that 20? I don't know. But they were violently rerouted by a towering tree of defensive linemen. That's David Irving. So basically, he told NFL, because they tested for cannabis, and he'd seen all these people getting hooked on opioids, because, I mean, you could take, the doctors would be prescribing these meds, but they would test for cannabis, and he knew it was great for recovery, and he knew he was onto something. So he was an MVP guy, and he said, I'm out. And he left. He left the Cowboys, and he said, cannabis can make this world a better place. And he just walked. He walked. So that's awesome. So anyway, it yanked me back to a former Dallas Cowboy. Let's see. Irving Kersley chose taking a hit over, taking a hit. But the former Cowboys rising star didn't up and quit the NFL solely for the recreational high of marijuana. He insists his stance, surprise, isn't to party, but more so for prosperity. I know the perception people have of me is that I'm sort of a gangsta, homeless pothead, Irving told me recently. Not me, but I gave up football for a bigger cause. I want to change the bias towards cannabis. I want to educate America that it's not a drug, it's medicine. The real reason I'm not in the NFL is that I'd rather be out here saving lives. Solid. Upon his infamous retirement from the Cowboys in the NFL last March, via live Instagram video, Irving hung up his helmet, moved to San Jacinto, California, and began his new pot over pigskin life as a cannabis connoisseur. Among his many products, he recently launched Cannabis Passport, the world's first rolling paper magazine that includes 100 premium hemp and soy printed filter tips. That's pretty awesome. He says, I've been smoking since I was in middle school, always had a 3.0 GPA, never had any trouble with the law. We just need to stop already with the lies and misconceptions. Preach, Irving. Marijuana is easing the pain of cancer patients. It's adding years to dogs' lives. Just think of that. It adds years to dogs' lives. It can help the NFL with its CTE problem. Let's give him a hand. David Irving, spitting that truth, son. Only 100 years later. It's just like Prohibition, only 100 years later, but I would say it's nowhere near that. This guy called Irving, expecting to get a smoked ring combo of Willie Cheech and Seth Rogen. Instead, he got a contact higher learning from the 6'7", 300-pounder, unafraid to take on Snoop Dogg, Big Pharma, and the NFL. They tried to portray me as an addict, but nah, I'm an advocate, he says. Not long ago, Irving was an asset out of Iowa State. He initially signed, ironically, by the Chiefs, and eventually landed on the Cowboys practice. He blocked a field goal in 2015, and during 2016-17 recorded 11 sacks and 10 starts. Irving was Chris Jones before Chris Jones and Too Tall Jones were even around. But anyway, he just told me I should just stop playing and to smoke all the weed I wanted because the team didn't need me anymore. It was pretty clear that they were done with me. Well, we're not done with you, David Irving, and keep rocking. You know what I mean? Keep rocking. Maryland lawmaker files marijuana legalization bill ahead of 2021 session. I wanted to mention here, NBA could permanently end marijuana tests so it doesn't become Big Brother, commissioner said. And that's the thing. That's just awesome. And it warms my heart because things gotta change. Idaho activist wants recreational marijuana legalization on 2022 ballot in addition to medical cannabis, and that's exciting, and I'll keep you guys up to date as we go through, again, Committee for Compassionate Care. That's where you can get all your medical information, and if you want a change to come in the medical program, like, I don't know, some sort of testing of quality, so you're not getting blue leaky pot, and seeds, and maybe there should be an hermaphrodite subsection that only allows male and female, two plants, to do their thing. It's what God would want. Hermaphrodite just sounds funny anyway. And, if you can make a plant do itself, that's masturbation, not plant growing. You see what I'm saying? So Canna-Talk ND with Wilson every stinking Thursday, 4:20, we get into the bag of cannabis. Radio Free Fargo, KRFF 95.9 LPFM. That's where you can go donate and just follow along with your boy Wilson, or Side Stage with Trav, noon to 3, Thursday as well. And then there's locals on the 8 somewhere in the evening. Just, keep your station, keep it locked here. The independent radio station that ain't afraid to talk about the stuff that needs to be talked about. I got a backbone. It's just made of jelly. Just kidding. I wanted to mention to people out here, if you know people, we need underwriters. You basically kick down a fee, and then we mention, a pre-written thing about your store or business or whatever, and we do that once. I don't know the whole science of how often, but I do know that everybody that's ever done it has always liked it, and you help this radio station, and then we help you. We give you, they're not commercials, they're just underwriters, and we give you a pre-written thing like Terps Candy, that sort of thing. So again, just get a hold, just go Radio Free Fargo on Facebook or any social platform that Radio Free Fargo is, and send a message, and somebody will get out to you shortly to give you the ins and outs of being an underwriter here at KRFF 95.9 LPFM Moorhead Fargo, the independent radio with the big fist for justice. Okay? So anyway, guess what's happened? We've wrapped up this Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. I hope, this segment. And I got some Christmas music. And again, I got a couple I've done my first sandwich. I got the guy playing one song, then another band, and then that guy finishes it up with a Grinch medley. So let me get you rocking here. Merry Christmas. See you on the other side of this. Now, that's how you do a Christmas melody if you're the boss man. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. You just heard MF Grinch. That's off their Cookin' Soul album, Doom Christmas, which is really good. Then you got Christmas in Hollis, Run DMC, Tougher Than Leather, 1988. And then I wrapped it up with MF Grinch Part 2, same album, Doom Christmas. Really a cool thing. Okay, well, Canna-Talk ND with Wilson every Thursday has come to a close. You can bet I'll be here next Thursday, right after Side Stage with Trav, noon to 3, automation, 4 to 5. We talk about cannabis legalization and everything it surrounds, and I give you a week's worth of cannabis news, and we discuss that at 4:20. Merry Christmas to everybody. Shout out to my daughter and to my family. I'll see you tomorrow, and hopefully I can cook the pork chops properly, because I know Pizza Roll doesn't like anybody who doesn't like a good pork chop. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, holiday greetings to everybody. I hope you have a good one. If you're in North Dakota, you need to get yourself warmed up and get in front of a Yule log, because it is cold. It's like minus, like with the windshield, it's like minus 20-something, which is pretty stinking crazy. Canna-Talk ND on YouTube, this show, minus the music tomorrow. Philip Cannahead Pilko, he's doing the Cannahead Sunday, I forget what time, and he'll get this up, which again, I appreciate his work, and he's going to hear this, so I'll say Merry Christmas to you, and Merry Christmas to everybody, and to all a stinking good night. You know it's coming. David Allen, Judgment Day.